Welcome, everyone. I am Gabrielle. I am the Materialista here at Architectural Systems. I'm so excited to be joined today by Andrew McQuilkin from BHDP in Cincinnati. We will be talking about the Ferguson Showroom project for this month's Project Spotlight. So, Andrew, let's talk about how the materials of the space spoke to the design brief.
Well, what you had is you had three really important brands in the kitchen and bath industry get together. They formed a partnership, and that is Ferguson, Sub-Zero, and Kohler. And what they had done is actually some of the CEOs actually met at a charity event. Two of them are actually located near each other. And they decided it was, time to think about this high-end consumer and if they could develop a partnership to create a showroom that was all around the positioning for this higher end clientele. Sub-Zero, as you know, is refrigerators. They were also Sub-Zero Cove and Wolf, which is dishwashers and stoves. And they're very high positioned. And then Kohler has product lines that are really high positioned. And what they needed was a partner to help them run and facilitate from conception all the way through shepherding through the build process. And they realized that the one partner they needed was Ferguson. So in the end, this Ferguson studio concept is really about how to position for the high-end consumer, the way they design with their architects and developers and end contractors, and how they buy. And so this showroom really is about that idea. And it really talks about what they're buying for, by creating a concept that is sort of a fashion avenue of the latest of bath and kitchen products. But then one side, to be intuitive, was really about kitchen inspiration, and the other one was about bath inspiration. So that's how we kind of divided up, not by a shop and shop between the brands, but by a cross merchandising concept of the lifestyle of kitchen and bath and the products that both those companies sell.
Oh, wow. That is really exciting. This really is such a dynamic environment to showcase the best-in-class brands. It really almost looks like a gallery space. The way that it's designed, it's really clear the synergies between the brands and how that's reflecting the whole story and maximizing that experience for the homeowner to envision the appliances in their home. So how did the ASI materials meet this vision?
Well, the first thing I did is I called ASI. I called Andrew Cooper. And I said, listen, I'm developing a new concept. It's going to be a prototype. It looks like it's probably going to roll out if it could be successful. We were only in the conceptual phase. There was no space yet. And I said, I need to build the palette around this, this idea of kitchen and bath. And I want to make sure I can find a palette of materials that's going to work for any occasion and any design trend that they decide to plug into these, design niches. It's going to feel lifestyle-like. And the spaces and the vignettes are going to change over time. But I need a neutral floor that's going to help me do that. So I talked to him about, this fashion runway. I need something a little more glossy and shiny and really light colored for the new arrivals. I need something really neutral and warm. Like my inspiration was a wood flooring, but I didn't want to do wood flooring,
right.
A wood herringbone. And so, and then I had this threshold that goes into the gallery spaces beyond for the kitchen side and the bath side. And so I explained to him, I showed him some mood boards and image strategy that we had done. And Andrew just started sending me materials. He started sending me palettes of stuff that was available. Now, this was all pre-COVID.
Oh.
So he ended up, sending me stuff that I was able to work with the palettes, run them by my clients as we started to narrow things down. And then we ended up, getting a really good palette to build from, really from the flooring up is how I wanted to do it. I wanted to make sure the flooring was right. All the other paint colors and stuff I could adjust to.
Right.
Well, then COVID hit. And this project got shut down for 20 months.
Oh, wow.
And when it came back online, Andrew was actually pretty proactive when I let him know it was coming back online. He looked into all the materials that were no longer available or now had really long lead times. And so we went back to the drawing board on a couple materials. In fact, the gallery space floor for the niches was this light sort of marbly effect that was sort of matte with a little bit of texture. It was a large format tile too. So he came back and said, you know what, it's not available. Let me see what else I can find. Came back with a similar size format, but he actually came back with a better tile than we originally had. So I was in love with it. The client was in love with it. It, created a great warm white, gray, light gray, neutral background. And so I thought just the idea of being able to be proactive with me and let me know what was no longer available after the crisis really helped create a space that was much better than I ever thought.
Yes, and the reselecting of the materials during, that was a very challenging time, and we were able to pivot because of the deep relationships that we have with our vendors to provide you with the alternates that you needed, and like you said, that you liked even better.
Yeah, the key material was that herringbone. Like I said, that was the start of the whole thing.
Right.
And so that tile was a single tile that had herringbone built into the tile. We ended up going to substitute out to an actual porcelain plank that we laid in the herringbone at a bigger scale. And in reality, that was a much better decision. The space is much bigger and wider than I thought. And the scale of it, was the right scale. I think the original one would have been too busy.
Yeah.
So in a way, it was
Sounds like it was
you
a nice,
know,
easy installation as well.
yeah, I think that the contractor, was really good at coordinating and understanding the specifications that Andrew helped put together. I think there was some guidance along the way through the construction company HITT. And I think it was seamless. There were very few issues. There was nothing to punch list when the flooring was installed. It came out exactly as intended.
Oh, it's fantastic. We love to hear that. And congratulations. I know this project won an award. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it ends up the contractor submitted to the Craftsmanship Award. There's a council that basically, is in DC that, over 200 submissions are made a year. And there were only 2 winners in the flooring category, and this was one of them.
Wow.
So we had no idea they were submitting it. They took handheld photos to submit it to the awards for the awards judging. And I guess the craftsmanship, the way in which they cut the tile, really showed off the original design intent that we put together. So it ended up winning. So we think it's going to win a few awards, hopefully over the next year. And this was actually a really big surprise to get one for flooring. So we love the idea of sharing it with ASI and getting them to understand, that their product really helps deliver on what we were conceptualizing.
Of course.
I think the award ceremony was on March 31st.
Oh, it's just happened.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
There are many vendors for many types of materials out there. And for me, in my 40 plus year career, it really comes down to the service level of those providers. It could be the most beautiful material in the world, but if it doesn't come with some hand holding when I have a needy client, if it doesn't come with a solid step-by-step specs for how to install it, if it doesn't come with a supplier who doesn't care about what our client's trying to get to, then the ball gets dropped along the way. Right. And so that's one of the things I like about architectural systems. The idea is that you will partner with us through the entire process and make sure not only that we're happy, but our clients are happy.
Yes, of course. That is always the goal, not only from the aesthetic, but to make sure that it meets all the performance criteria and that we're sensitive to your budget. And this is what we've been doing for the past 30 years. We want to be your strategic material partner and make sure all of those are achieved.